Lionel Nelson here, and welcome to A Father's Note, promoting fathers through building men. It's so important that we always stand up for our fathers. We want you to know we're with you. We're standing behind you 110%.
Hey, beautiful people. We just want to come on here live tonight. Just you could call this a special edition, because I'm just gonna keep it real tonight, just like I did last night. You know, we got some responses from our show last night, and we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna do a recap. So I got a couple of brothers here. I'm gonna bring these brothers on. We just gonna have a conversation, man. We just gonna talk about the show last night. So
That's right.
if y'all brothers can share, let somebody know we on. That'd be great. I don't have no set platform tonight, but I do want to do a recap on our show last night, because I think that clarity is important in everything that we do. We got to make sure that we have there is clarity in it, and that those that are watching, those that are attentive to what we have to say and what's on the show, that they have a complete, full, rightful understanding of it. Now, what I want to do, guys, if you don't mind, if you are watching, you know, let us know in the comments if you're on, because we want to make sure that we get enough people on here before we really get going here. Yeah. Anyway, so gentlemen, you watched the show last night. What I would like for you guys to do, we talked about, let me just do a little recap on it. We had talked about, the topic was the language of love a man wants from a woman. And Brother Ken and I, we had did a survey of 185 men in the ages of 20 to 65. And the survey that we did, we're gonna get rolling here, bro, gentlemen. Just want to make sure we got it. But anyway, this what the survey was. We had sent out a survey asking this question: what is the language of love a man wants from a woman? And we gave 5 choices, and we allowed the guys to pick 2 of either one of these, which is submission, respect, affirmation, sex, and other. Now, we got a lot of others as well, but out of these 4 here, especially the submission, respect, affirmation, sex, we did get a good number, a good response from it. And excuse me. And the reason that I selected these, because I think these were things that I felt that was important to men, as well as what women struggle with. And I'm basing this off of not so much the conversation that the ladies had when they were on the week before, when they had their round table, when they talked about a woman's perspective on sex, intimacy, and love. And that was a great interview that they had. Great show. They had a lot of good content, a lot of good nuggets on it. And as I stated, I would recommend anyone to go and grab that. But that's what took me to our show last night, and I said what I had to say. Now I'm gonna be straight up and real with you all. I'm not gonna apologize for nothing that I said last night, because I meant every word of it. Now, I know that there is those that really struggle with it, and that's okay. But I want to hear from you guys what was your thoughts about the show and what I had to say on last night? Let me start with you, Ken, because you was right there in the hot seat with me, man.
Well, I honestly I agree with a lot of the things that you had to say, but see, I'm a man, and I was listening to you, and then I went back and I rewatched, and I talked to my wife, and I got, like I told you, I got a lot of phone calls immediately after the show. Like my phone, I couldn't answer your phone call because I was getting phone calls.
Right.
And
Right.
when we just brought up, the communication and how men hear and women hear things differently, and I was talking to my one of my friends, and she said, I don't understand how you can say, when you wake up in the morning, you do this and we do this, and you feel a certain type of way, and I explained to her, I think it was maybe 8 years ago, me and my wife, we went, it was basically a counseling session, but it was for Valentine's Day. So what they had us do was they had us look at a wall, and basically we looked at the same wall, but my wife described the wall as, I think it was mauve, and I described it as pink. I said it's pink,
Right.
And she saw it one way, I saw it another. But every woman in that room said the same thing. They said it was mauve. And every man in there agreed with me. Man, that's pink. And it's the same color. We were saying the same thing. We were just saying it different. That's what we're running into.
I can respond to that, but I want to hear from you guys first, because I'm going to share with you what I came to a conclusion with, even after having a conversation with my wife. I'm going to share with you, but Aaron, what you got to say on what was said last night?
Man, first of all, I want to say it was an excellent topic, and I was intentional with what I was going to do today. I was going to make a clip of the conversation that y'all had, and Mr. Ken answered the question, talking about the respect, because a lot of women don't understand that men would prefer the respect over the sex. And this is my opinion to back up what Ken was saying. The reason why there was 100 or something on the respect level is because a man knows if he can get the respect of his woman, he has more than sex. He has more than your loyalty. He has more than your understanding, because the respect from you is going to gain other things. If you respect your king, you're gonna do things and make decisions that's going to reflect kingship. So the king says, "Hey, baby, I don't think that Kiki them and Tanya them is a good selection of friends for you, because they got boys and you got a king." If you respect his opinion, you respect his decision, you respect his vision, you respect his ability to lead you, then you should trust the fact that this king sees something in these boys, because if they were men, they would be with him. And then secondly, and I'm really not going to go heavy into that right now, because I know we got other guys on the show. But secondly, also was the fact of them understanding the fact that the respect that is not given makes a man feel like, why am I coming home? If I got a tongue wrestle with you about everything and ain't no respect in my house for the man, what I'm coming in here for? What I'm dealing with this for?
Yeah.
To God, Carrie.
Wow, that was both the gentlemen packed it up. I like to shoot straight. I was listening to the broadcast. I had to play back because I had to jump off, but I did listen in on today. And one big problem and component in relationships is the freedom of expression. We have to spend so much time couching our words to not be offensive. And in the middle of putting everything on the couch so we don't affect someone, you don't say what really needs to be said. So we spend the whole relationship, kind of just adding salt and pepper and, just little sprinkles as opposed to fully seasoning that joke and say, hey, taste that. You know what I'm saying? And deal with it. You know what I'm saying? So now, when I watched the video and man, I wrote something down and I want to read what I wrote, man. It just kind of bubbled up. Like when we start talking about communication, one of the parts you said that does sex mean communication from a man's point of view?
Okay.
And I totally agree that it does. So man, this is what I wrote, bro. It said men wanting sex all the time does reflect communication. When a man performs in bed, he's expressing his dominance when and while you're the most vulnerable to him. In some cases, that's the only time he's respected. That's the only time he's respected is when he's hitting the bottom of your canal.
Come on, Doc. Preach, Doc.
So
you go ahead and preach that one. Woo.
Why men focus so much on sex? Sometimes that's when the woman that's so hard up is the most vulnerable. So that's the time he gets to be dominant. So for some men, sex is on top of the chain.
That's the only time he can get her to listen.
That's the only time he can get her to listen. You could go ahead.
Or be quiet.
Or be quiet.
Or be quiet, yeah. Wow. Kerry, you hit that one, boy. Godly.
Yeah.
I dropped the mic.
Hey. Okay. Man, you guys said some great stuff there. You really did. I got this what I got. So I didn't see it because I was so wrapped up into the show. So my wife was texting me, calm down, baby, calm down. So I didn't see it after, the show was up and I got my phone and I look at the text. So I'm like, so when I walked in the room, man, you were radical. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were litty.
You was up,
litty. You was up there.
You was up.
But I was being honest with how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
That was just like what you were saying. I was expressing myself what I believe to be a truth. And the truth is that, okay, so my wife is saying, sorry, I disagree. Okay, well, all right. Anyway, and I'm like, wait a minute though. That survey really opened up my eyes. Because now here it is. We saying one thing. Now this is what got me, right? So fellas, check this out. So this is what I got. Well, that survey, it wasn't real. We didn't believe in it. Because the reason they answered the way that they answered is because it was coming from you.
What?
And I'm like, what?
Nah.
No.
Nah.
No.
But
If I could,
come on, bro, help me out, man.
if I could, because here's the thing. You got to take in consideration into where that question went to. First of all, two men of valor.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all don't have little Ronnie with his pants sagging and a box of blacks in his hand in y'all contacts, because that's not who y'all are.
Right.
Y'all are men that have mature mindsets, and the people that's in your contacts are very similar to you. They're people that are either married, trying to be married, men that's working, men that's trying to put life together. So the people that you asked are mature, faithful foundation to get that answer from. So you got to look at where it would be different if somebody on the street was asking you, oh, look at this survey I got from all my homeboys.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm. The
information came from people with a like mind.
That's a great point. And now I'm gonna tell you this. I would tell you this, and now that I think about it, even when I texted to certain gentlemen, I was selective as to who not to send it to because of what I already know.
As you should.
But why are the women saying they don't believe in the survey? That in essence, and I told my wife this, I said, so well, I guess if we had 159% had choose sex, y'all would be okay with that then, right? I actually asked that question. So then y'all would assume or deem that the survey was accurate. Because again, everybody's saying we think more about sex, and that's not true.
They would have been fine with that. They would have been fine if it was 150 sex answers, because that would have validated what they already believe.
That's my whole point. That's exactly what I said.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly it.
And go ahead, Kerry. No. You go, bro. Go ahead,
bro. Brother Aaron, he when he started out, he hit it right on the head. About the respect part. So now listen, man. So you don't have to be saved to be married, all right?
Right.
But now let me say this. If you're gonna subscribe to a godly marriage, I'm gonna send you straight over to Ephesians 5, start from 20 and run it on down to the end. The order was that the both of us submit to God, and then the order was established that women submit to your husband, and then the order, our husbands love your wife, and women respect. So it ain't that the men ain't making up some fairy tale that we need respect. It was orchestrated. We need that respect by design.
Right.
It's simply reverence. Why would God be the almighty creator and create in his alpha and omega-ness and not require reverence? And make a man after his own heart from he created us and he created us to lay us down? That doesn't make any sense. He said he created man in his likeness. So you know what? The first person that he created was with a sense of having or the need for respect. Angels sit around him all day, for crying out loud, crying holy, because he needs that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he wants it. So men, I was surprised that the level of respect was at 100. I thought it would, it was going to show, balance 50-50. I'm 29%.
159%.
What he said, you know what I'm saying, is that men need that respect, and then that's gonna open up so many
other doors.
It's gonna open up every door in the house, the basement, the garage, everything's gonna open up with respect.
Listen, this is what I told my wife. I said, well, and I should have said this last night, but I said, like, baby, because you respect me, that's why I know the submission is there. Because you respect me, I don't have to worry about affirmation, because you're going to give me that. Because you respect me, I don't have to worry about sex, because you're going to give me that. Give that to me. Because let me put this other up. Because of your respect, I know we're going to spend quality time together.
Mm-hmm.
Because of your respect, I know you're going to understand me. Because of your respect, I know we're going to have faith together. There's going to be commitment and support there. There's going to be reciprocation there. Acts of service, unity, partnership, honesty, actively listening, emotional intimacy, all because you respect my manhood, because you respect who I am.
I don't think, and this might, and I don't know all the women, I didn't see all the comments because I, like Brother Kerry, had to watch it on the replay. But when I saw it, the first thing I noticed was your energy. So your energy was definitely high octane. You had a couple of Red Bulls or something somewhere.
And a Cuban coffee.
And a Cuban coffee, yes. Listen, but I think that the women are missing the fact that if the men that took this survey are saying respect is more important, all that means is, sweetheart, you got to check the man that is begging you for more sex, because maybe he's not where the men who took this survey is. Maybe he's still, unfortunately, he's caring more about his little head than his big head.
Mm-hmm.
because there are some men that don't care about the little head. They care more about the big head because they know for a fact, if I get my woman's respect, another man ain't got no room.
None.
So I can walk around and go to work with a free conscience, free understanding, do everything I need to do for my castle and take care of my home because I know for a fact my wife reverences me. She respects me. She honors me. So everything else is in line, just like what you said. That's why the respect is number one.
Yeah. It's big, ladies. Respect is big.
And that's all we're saying. Now, I'm going to say this because, you know, I had inquired another viewer's perspective, a lady, and they responded back that they felt that I was attacking the women when I was delivering. And I'm like, well, I never said that. I mean, if they were listening to what I was saying, instead of being concerned how I was delivering it, which is something that I had to learn with my wife, they would have heard, no, I never, and it wasn't that I was attacking the women or saying that they need to go and pull a bum up off the street and clean them up or whatever. No, I said, no, first of all, don't look for a man because you don't know what man you need. God knows what that man is, that the right man that you need. Instead, you looking for one yourself. But if you are looking in the meantime, you need to put your attention on God. But don't get with no man who does not have God, that is not seeking God, don't have a pursuit for God, and he doesn't have a vision. If he has nothing, if he's laying on the street corner, then that's exactly where you need to leave him. Because he has nothing to offer you, as what you said last night, Ken, that he can incubate. Was that the word you used?
Yeah.
That a woman can incubate or birth. You got to give the woman something. So anyway, guys,
I mean, that's what Miles Monroe said, ain't it? You give her food, she make you a meal. You give her a house, she make it a home.
Right. So this is what I learned, though. So there was a question that was asked, and my wife and I, whenever we could, we kind of talked intensively about this today. And so when she said something to me, she shared something with me that someone else had shared with her. And I'm like, you guys did not listen to what I was saying. What you was being attentive to was, as I already said, how I was saying it. So then I thought about it. I said, well, going back to, there was a question that was asked yesterday. And what I noticed is that I interpreted the question one way. But then when I talked to my wife about it, my wife interpreted the question another way. And so I noticed a couple of other ladies did as well. So it's going back to what you had said, Ken, about you and your wife looking at the wall.
Right.
One calling it pink, the other calling it mauve. So this is what my conclusion was, is that no matter what it is, when we're communicating with one another, with our spouse, our mate, when we're communicating with them, they're not listening to what we're saying to them from a man's perspective. And when a woman or when the wife is communicating to the man is not listening to what she's saying from a woman's perspective. Y'all follow what I'm saying here? So it's important that we understand. The bottom line is that we got a communication issue. And
that's where you respect the differences, though.
Right. And this is what it all comes down to, because again, hey, listen, if my wife is communicating to me, this is what I learned. I need to learn how to listen to it from what her perspective as to what she's saying, instead of listening to what she's saying to me through my own perspective, because that's what's going to cause me to interpret what she is saying wrong. What do y'all say to that?
Well, we listen, both men and women, we listen to respond.
Mm-hmm.
We don't listen to change. We don't listen to hear. You know, it's always a response. And if we can change just that little bit, then I think everything else would change. Because if we're listening to, you know, if you're listening to your better half and they're saying, you know, I gotta have, my house has to be clean, and you come home and drop your shirt on the floor, you know, that's making them feel some type of way, like you don't care about what's going on. Not that you dropped it on the floor, but it's to them, they're saying, baby, you know, come on now. We've had this conversation 5 or 6 times and you're still doing it. But they're not understanding that you just came home from work, you walked in the bathroom, and you threw it on the floor. When you get out the shower, you're gonna pick it up. They just happened to walk in there while you were in the shower.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And the thing is, you have a response for that. You respond. Like, man, not now. I don't want to hear that right now. I just got off work. You know? But that response is gonna turn her off. She's gonna have an attitude later on, you know, for the rest of the day. Then when you laying down, you're like, man, what's wrong with you? You know, but you drop that shirt on the floor.
So what you say though, we need to be more on both sides. On both sides. So what you're saying, on both sides, we need to be attentive when it comes down to communication. Right. Now, I'm not going to apologize for nothing that I said last night. All right, man. Of course, you know, like I had to remind myself. I had to remind myself who I was talking to. I was talking to women. I was addressing it to women. All right. And if I came off harsh to you all, listen, there was no harm intended in it. I was just expressing myself and very passionate about it because I'm just absolutely tired of hearing the narrative. And I'm gonna be serious about that all y'all think that we want is sex. No, we want other things. And I wanted to make sure that I emphasize on the point is the fact that, look, if you give us the respect that we need, that can help make us better men. That would help make us better men. I cannot forget this here. Ladies, the ladies are the ones who have the influence over us. And if you don't care to influence us with respect, and we're saying to you that's what we need, then how you expect us to respond to that? What do you guys say to that?
Well, one important thing about communication is, you know, not only giving, but it's also receiving. Right. And now, you know, if we're going to add the biblical aspect, it says, in all thy getting, do what? Get an understanding. So you can talk all day, you know, baby, I want, and walk away. But if you're not like making it clear and baby, okay, I'm understanding, just say like, let's use clean the house. I want my house clean when I come. So, okay, when you walk in the door, the front part of the house is clean. But when you go in the room, the clothes that were washed are stacked on the bed. The bathroom got Ajax and stuff all in the bathroom. So now you can't shower because she going to get to it. And so all these things. So now saying that, you know, I want my house clean, or now let's be clear. So, you know what, baby, when I come home, let's make sure, you know, this is a conversation before they even get started, you know, make sure everything's swept. You know, I like, you know what I'm saying, you know, things to be a certain way, to, you know, whatever, Pine Sol, and make sure when you wash, you know, don't dump the clothes on the bed, baby. You got to be clear about that, because that might be something that she does. But if she's saying, well, okay, well, I'm washing, the least you can do is such and such. But that if we don't get an understanding on what we want and what we're asking, we're just going to keep the doors just going to keep revolving. It's just going to be like that hotel door. Every time we go into the conversation, it's just going to keep looping around. And then before you know it, somebody going to get frustrated, and then somebody going to start acting up. You know what I mean? So, and then there was one part of what you said on the broadcast, that the ladies want us to conform to them. You said the ladies want us to conform to them. Now, if we can like really blow this thing out and go.
Can you hold your thought right there?
Yeah.
Do you guys agree or disagree with that statement?
Yes. Man, what?
So
it's a whole pandemic. It's a whole pandemic of the independent woman trying to find a real man and turn him into a chump.
Well,
Okay. Go ahead.
But I'll leave that there for another
We're going to get to you, Ellis. I know you got to go and be on a short minute, but go ahead, finish your point, Kerry, because I cut you off. But I wanted to be clear on that. I wasn't just saying something that was gibberish.
Right. So, but yeah, it's just like wanting them to conform. And what I was going to say, these things stem from a lot from our makeup growing up. A lot of us got different things that we've gone through, and that stuff lies dormant until we get in a safe place, which usually is a relationship. Now, everything about us starts surfacing once we start smoothing out. So now everything gets comfortable, and then there might be little triggers within, that the smoothness of the relationship that may trigger a whole nother monster that was never dealt with from 9 years old. And so now that jit shows up, wrecking the house through the man. But that's a whole other situation right there.
Let Elias respond here. Come on, bro. What you got to say, man?
You can hear me clearly?
Yes, sir. We hear you.
Okay. So I'm just catching on, and I heard a piece of it from about a good 6 minutes in. And the thing is, my biggest problem is with the situation is for anybody to say that the first thing on a man's mind is sex, that let me know that they're not a man. Me and I call him Uncle Lionel now. He's my uncle. Uncle Lionel. We had discussion about that. For a man to tell me throughout the lot that the first thing on his mind when he get married is sex, let me know he have a problem with his identity. Because sex ain't the first thing that should be on your mind when it comes out of marriage. It should be your vision, number one. Number two, sex automatically comes within the marriage. So if you have to beg for it, there's a problem. But you have to show your authority inside the home, so you have to know that you are a man anyway. That's so the woman will respect you as so. Now, at the same time, I was hearing about respect, but I think a lot of men have us twisted when it comes down to respect, because number one, respect goes two ways. Even the Bible tells us this here. Treat one man like you want to be treated. And most men don't know how to respect themselves. So how you expect a woman to respect you when you barely know how to respect yourself anyway? You better know how to love yourself. You better even know how to treat yourself right. But then you want a woman to treat you right.
So let me ask you this here, guys. I'm going to address this question to all of you. Did it sound like I was saying that just get any man and raise him up and change him and turn him into the man that you want? Did it sound like I was saying that?
No.
I think you used your testimony in a great capacity.
Correct.
To where they could understand that if they take and break down that list that they have, as you said about the 6-pack and the dark skin and and the long hair, the dreads, because it's a whole beard gang out here right now. So they want the dreads and the beard gang. So if they minimize that list, God could have easily sent half of them or more than them their husband a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
But in all honesty, they probably missed them because they're looking for something that they probably can't even handle anyway.
And responding to what you just said is,
wow.
I gotta be honest with you. Like I told Uncle Lionel, I said, hey, be honest with you. They said a man should have a vision and a woman should birth a vision. So if a man got the vision, she has to know how to birth that vision out of that man. So if she wastes some time trying to make her a man, not realizing the vision already in the man, all you got to do is help bring it out. You will have that man that God desires you to have. But we're too busy trying to force something out of somebody that we don't even know what we want ourselves. How can a woman sit there and force something out of me when she don't know what she wants?
Well, yeah, and then that's two ways. That goes on both sides though.
Yeah.
That's the two-way street right there.
Because I'll be honest with you. Use my own personal testimony. When I got married, I had a problem with myself, my own identity. I'm not ashamed to say. But at the same time, my wife didn't know her identity either. It took God himself to come inside us to teach us how to be who we are today. So I'm not going to sit there like I was perfect or I'm all this. No, it took my wife to help bring this out of me. And it helped. And it also took me to help bring what is in her out of her. We help each other.
Consistent
We help
pouring.
each other. We help develop each other. But we too busy trying to get a microwave marriage till we don't know what the heck we want. Tyson, Stofers, that don't work. You got to go cut the onion up, buy the meat, tenderize that meat. Come on now.
Okay, let me ask this question here, because this question came up. Great points, Elias. This question came up too. Why do, and I'm going to phrase it this way, why do women think that men want sex, only sex, or sex is what's always on their mind? Why do women feel that way?
That goes back to what Aaron said. That goes right back to what Aaron said. Those are boys. It's a difference between a boy and a man.
Big difference.
And then there's a difference between a man and a king.
Big difference.
So break that down. Break that down for us. Break that down for the ladies.
What's the old adage? When I was a boy, I played as a boy, I spoke as a boy, I talked as a boy.
When I became a man, I put away childish things.
You know, those things are behind us. When I was in high school, I was chasing skirts. I was trying to get a notch on my belt. And another notch, and another notch, and another notch.
Absolutely.
But now that I'm married, I don't have to chase that. It lay right next to me every night.
Right.
You know, and then this is when you become a king. When you realize who the real king is. That's when you sit in high places. Plain and simple. You sitting in high places with the king. And he anointed you.
So let me ask this question. So then when it comes to that, we have it right next to you. So if you high nature woman, the high nature man, and that woman is not, how do you handle that, man? Because I'm sure we have some women that falls in that. Oh wow.
And that's can I be real for a second?
Yeah. Just let me make this real point, Aaron. Okay, again, going right back to what was said in the women's round table, that you got to have conversations so that each one of you would know what you won't have no false expectations.
Understanding.
Yeah, you about to take where I was going.
Go ahead, Aaron. Go ahead.
Don't confuse my conversation of sex from my desire to want to have sex. My conversation of sex is so that I know you match me and I match you. My desire to have sex is when we actually get there. But my conversation about sex is I need to know if I grab you because I'm happy to see you, you're not going to run out the door and scream that this joker done lost his mind. You understand that I want to embrace you in a way that you know I'm in love with you. So my conversation of sex is different from my desire of sex.
Yeah.
So I want to respond because I want to take the question. I want to take the same subject.
No, go ahead.
So
good, brother. Get.
Thank you, bro.
It also came up was that men want sex, but they're not into the intimacy.
No.
Right?
Wow.
So
no.
That's
how do we address that?
The problem is the ineffectiveness of communication.
Here we go. We keep going right back.
We keep going back to the king, boy.
The conversation is not where it needs to be. We go around in circles and circles and circles, and we saying the same thing. They saying the same thing, but nobody hear each other. It comes to a point is ineffectively communication. Because be honest with you, I like a little foreplay. I like to be entertained. I like to be, touch. I like to be, caressed. I'm a man. I like to be warmed up. We just don't get cracked up like that.
Yeah, but it's going back to what Kia's wife said on the show. And she made, and it was a great point, that intimacy start at 6 a.m., 8 a.m. in the morning.
Not 11 p.m.
Not
That
11,
was a great
11:30.
point.
No.
Great point.
Hey, listen,
Sometimes
I don't know about you all, but when I walk by my wife and she got that little tush sticking out there, babe, I'm patting it, man. Hey, I'm patting it, man. Hey,
Rella, come get him. Sharella, come get him. Come get him. He finna get crunk again.
Come on, let's be real about it, man. You know what? We need to stop faking this thing, man, because you know what? At the end of the day, come on, I'm gonna say some truth here. At the end of the day, the reason that we have so many divorces, especially in the church, is because these conversations are not being had.
Not being had.
And people need to know, listen, I've been in Christ, man, since 1984. But just because I come to Christ, that don't mean my emotions, my feelings, and my sex drive has died. It's over with.
You got more horny men and women in the church running around shouting holy, holy. Then you got people that go home with their husband and their wife and be satisfied. If you gonna tell the truth, tell the truth.
Right.
You know what happened? When the people got home, they forgot to be a family, not a church.
Wow.
They got home and want to speak in tongues in the bed.
No.
Tongues in the bed.
Man, you better turn on some Jasmine Sullivan and go to sleep.
Hold on, we got a question here. Let me see. What is your love language most of the time? When is your love language most of the time is different from each other? Am I reading this right?
Yeah, I think she's saying, what if your love language most of the time is different from each other's?
Okay. Which it is. That's why you got together.
That's the beauty in it. Opposites attract.
The other part's love language.
But you know something? For her to ask that question, and I like that question, that's where communication come in at.
Again,
you have to know your spouse. You have to know your spouse.
And
you
bro,
can't
can I
say that you just want to get in the bed?
You're never gonna stop learning them either.
Exactly.
That's a big problem.
It's a responsibility.
Because listen, I done been married before, and I'm telling you, one of the biggest things I learned is what I thought I knew before we got married. I forgot it during the fact that we got married, and I forgot them, and I stopped learning them. So the things that was working in the beginning ain't working now. And so guess what? I'm a single. Yeah. Lesson learned. Lesson learned.
This what I learned too, also from just by what you saying. When I think I know, I don't know nothing.
Man, that's good.
At all.
But how many of us are gonna be real with ourselves that we've been there, bro?
Right.
Yeah. My transparency is all I got. I ain't trying to be perfect. I'll tell you from the start to finish, I ain't perfect, but what I know, I know.
So let me ask this question. So here it is. I have a wife. Not my wife, y'all. This is
scenario. We understand.
This is scenario.
Scenario. I help you out. I don't want you to get in trouble.
But I have a wife who says that I don't know how to be intimate, but I want to have sex. What would you guys suggest that wife
teach?
Elias, did you watch the show last night? Because man,
I did.
Good. You hit it.
Listen, when Uncle was talking, I was in the back car screaming. Because I'm like, I want to get on it with you. But you had it all by yourself.
So you wanted to be lit like him last night? Because you said you were screaming too.
Hey, he came on with a Red Bull tonight too.
Exactly. Somebody got to talk with some sense.
Yeah. So yeah, I think one thing, guys, that we have to learn and not to forget, and which is a big part of what we've forgotten in the church and what I've learned because I didn't know it then. You're gonna hear me say this a lot. Most of the time you talk to me, I'm gonna say this. As believers, we gotta hold the marriage accountable to the word.
Yes.
So if you say you love God, let's go to what the Bible says about it.
Right.
The Bible says, like when it comes to that sex thing, hey, it says give a benevolence. Wife, your body ain't yours. Husbands, your body ain't yours. So, baby, honey, when dude want to pee, you know what I'm saying, hand it over. Hey, husbands, when she want to D, hand it over. It's just that simple. That's what the word says.
Now,
So now you got to keep yourself in a position to honor the word. And you
okay,
please God that way.
But because the respect ain't there, they using it as a weapon.
Bam.
No.
Whoa.
The problem is,
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Rim shot
It's the circle of life.
and applause.
This man in his sound effects tonight.
you know, you two brothers, y'all mess. But
Bruh,
y'all
100.
on point, because if we're not using our communication, not understanding, number one, like I said, my strong belief is the first ministry of Christ is family. We missed the whole pot.
Yeah.
Because we've been so busy trying to defeat each other, trying to say who on top of the ballpark or who on top of the bed, instead of laying down and being with each other. Instead of loving each other, instead of caressing each other, we miss everything.
Now, hold on a second, fellas. I want to put this up because I was going to mention this because this was on the first show for the February as the month of love when I had Mr. and Mrs. Eddie and Desiree Hall on the show. And if I don't remember nothing else on that show, the one thing that I remember on that show was this, and this is what Mr. Hall said. He said, what I had to do as a man was to ask my wife to teach me how to love you. After that, we learn how to work it together.
You know.
Now, again, if your husband come to you and say, okay. If your husband come to you and say, sweetie, just tell me what I need to do in order to love you the way that you want to be loved. If you are submissive to his request, you shouldn't have no problem doing exactly that.
Right.
But what happens is that because he's a man, women have the thought or the expectation that the man should already know what to do. Not necessarily.
Right.
Because especially now, check this out now. If he has already been in a previous relationship, whatever might have worked for that lady in that previous relationship, where it turned her on, it may be a turnoff for you. But if you never let him know that, and he continues to do it because he thinks that's the game, we're talking about learned behavior now, and he continues to do that, then what happens, you keep getting bitter and more bitter and more bitter about it. What do you think going to be the final outcome of it? He's going to turn you completely off, and then he wondering why you don't want to do it no more. Why? Right. I mean, y'all help me out, brothers. Am I right or wrong?
You're right. We got to remember too that our experiences throughout life is our behavior every day.
Yeah. Wow.
That's everything that we've gone through that we can recall from a kid, or even we may not even recall. It was just been a systematic behavior or environment growing up that becomes who we are matriculating through life. But you just don't know when those points of life are going to show up. So now you let's say now you got a joker, let's say been watching porn all his life. So now he got all kind of energy in his life. He want every hole you got. Y'all know what I'm talking about. He want every hole. Every time we start. So for you, that ain't gonna work. But that man says, hey, I gotta have it unless I ain't providing no more. Oh, I paid it. So there's certain dynamics. So now you got the woman that was, probably in the hustler, environment. You know what I'm saying? And she been in Playboy doing the same vibe. So she got all kind of tricks up her sleeve, but you ain't performing and you ain't half the man that she know about. You know what I'm saying? So now we got a bigger problem. So now, divulging this information, you make yourself so vulnerable to, you know what I'm saying? That's a dangerous place when you make yourself that vulnerable, especially as a man saying that, baby, I ain't teach me how to satisfy you. Ugh.
That's emotional intimacy.
And the information is misused. Oh my God, that brother will never talk.
He'll never talk.
If that information is misused, he'll never open up.
Yep.
And see, that's
Wow.
the problem. We don't understand passionate communication.
Wow.
We got to have passionate communication where we respect the boundaries of our passion and begin to revolve to something that's beautiful. But sometimes they take that passion and use it as a weapon and destroy the man, saying, "Oh, yeah, that's why you're sorry. You know what?" Or
Right.
And what happened is we tune to shut down and close away. Where even if we do to participate with you in the intercourse, it's like we're not there.
Oh yeah. Not
It
it's
becomes
short.
meaningless.
Keep it real. Now it's short. It don't last long.
And now you're angry at us and saying, "Oh, no." But the problem is you don't destroy the manhood that like want to satisfy you. So why should he get up for you?
That part.
You took the passion away from me.
And then that
Instead of
affects the
like,
love.
teach me, you look at me as I'm a man. I'm a weak man. No, I'm actually a strong man by asking you to teach me how to be passionate with you.
I commend that brother who did that because he clearly loved her. And I think that a lot of women who have experienced men like that, if they haven't answered that question, like you said, bro, out of submission, they mishandled it. And if you get that question from your man, because as Brother Kerry said, we all come from different places. So you got the brother who, you know what I'm saying, he done had some of the wildest fantasies come to his mind by what he done saw, and now he needs you to be 15 different people every week. And that's gonna create something in her, because the woman, I ain't trying to be 15 people for you, boy. I'm trying to be who I am and what I'm capable of. But what she doesn't understand is because they might not communicate to that level and talk about that, and then they can never find what really becomes their intimate chemistry.
And right, and man, this just occurred to my head too. This is still in the vein. So like coming from like a place, right? Or like kids. So you got kids that grow up, and by stories that I've heard, so you got the young man that grew up rolling dice. You know what I'm saying? He grew up rolling dice, and that's I'm talking about. You know, he handling himself rolling dice. So so his sense of pleasure, he can take care of himself. So he ain't the dude looking for respect. He ain't the dude looking for sex. He just needs you to affirm him. You know what I'm saying? So now this dude just needs you to tell him, "I'm somebody. You're a good man," and all this stuff. So the childhood of, I'm telling you, man, the backstory, I should say, of all of us gonna affect the story moving forward. It's so important, and we may never find out these things about people. But this is why, unfortunately, when like going back to the passionate communication, we got to be able to communicate and be vulnerable and butt naked without that information, like Brother Gibbs said, being taken and used against us. Because you know, when you get mad in an argument and you don't told your wife I ain't that good in bed, so boom, now the cannon come out. Oh, you sorry in bed, no good, boom, and then the men do it too. You know what I'm saying? It goes both ways. So now you're scared to talk about things that are sensitive. And then the problems just keep going in a circle. And then we just, it's a circle. It's a revolving situation. So it's just like, how do we do it?
And you know, one thing that came to me is the biggest problem we have in our bedroom is, and that's most people I've been talking to, they bring in other parties in their bed.
Oh my God.
Physically. But because they've been entertaining several other different
conversations,
wrong people, or porno, they were inviting them into the bedroom, and they want the wife to perform like they saw on television, and not realize that's not passionate, that's lust.
Yeah, women watch porn too.
Listen, I'm gonna step in there real quick.
Go ahead.
It ain't even got to be porn,
right?
Let's be real. Let's be real transparent tonight.
Yeah.
The person and the people that's in your circle that conversate about, y'all talk about everything.
Yeah.
And maybe this week, your homeboy Big Tim, he done found this new freak, and she doing something to him, and he coming back telling you, boy, this girl, and now in your mind, you trying to go put pressure on your lady because you need her to be just as bad as your homeboy, so you can go back to the locker room and have the same talk. And women do the same thing. They sitting around the water cooler, girl, he got this boy, he got this trick. Now you need your man to come up with a trick. He ain't got no more.
Wow. But the problem with that Gibbs, I have that. That's a boy attitude. That's a boy
I'm sorry,
attitude.
Carrie. I'm sorry, Carrie.
I'm sorry. That's a boy attitude. Because I don't discuss nothing that happened in my bedroom to nobody.
Amen.
That's nobody's business.
You better say it.
None. Don't even think
That's
about
nobody's
it.
business. But before, even
I don't want to put no ideas in your head.
when
Exactly.
anybody discuss their bedroom business, I lose respect for them because it let me know they still a boy.
Yes, sir. Say it
Not
again.
a
Say it
man.
again. What
And
is?
I'm not gonna bite my tongue about it at all because certain things you should respect yourself enough to respect your wife enough to say, you know something, let me talk to her before I talk to my homeboys about that.
That's
what my
why
homeboys
respect
do.
was so
Because
big.
what happened is you end
That's
up
right.
listening to a homeboy, to your wife, unknown to yourself.
Right.
I
Now
got
you
it.
know your homeboy looking at your wife crazy.
I have a.
I want to taste it too.
That's that Red Bull, y'all.
Hey,
That's
hey,
that big can.
I have a couple of comments here I want to put up so we can respond to. So this come from your kingdom, bro. I couldn't get on earlier, but I heard my husband all the way in the room. I don't agree with a lot of what y'all are saying, but this allows women a look into how most men think. Hold on. Let me put up another one here.
Oh boy.
Men have to accept that a lot of what y'all do, women can look up longer than a man can stay up. It's so much, but a lot of what y'all are saying is one-sided. Guys, do y'all agree with that?
It has some. It has
Why
some
does it
validity.
sound like?
Got some truth.
Hold on. Let me rephrase the question. Why does it sound like it's one-sided to the women?
Because we only for one, we only have a set amount of time.
Okay.
We only have a set amount of time. So this is kind of a recap show from what went on last night. So we're kind of addressing, streamline some of those things from last night. But no, we ain't gonna agree, sis. Stop that. You know, and because what there's different things that I study. I love you, Tisha, by the way, you know that. There's things from our childhood, guys. See, I just been looking at different things, and there's so many things about man and woman. If we just stop the boat, forget about last night. Okay, if we let's erase last night out of y'all minds. So if we look at a perspective that, okay, Mr. Timmy, I'll use the name, Mr. Angelos is abused, and Sister Angelos is abused. Now these two people coming together and didn't communicate. How do you expect this thing gonna move forward? They're gonna come together like the natural design of attraction does. The natural law of attraction says, if I attract you, boom, we're gonna become intimate. That's life. So sex is not a strange story. People may not want it as much. So that's what you're gonna do. Then now, once the need and the bump and grind of sex goes away, now those real people show up. All the damage starts coming to the surface now, and then the real marriage and the real people begin. Now, how do you deal with all the things that's causing this man to want sex, or this man or the woman to be a nympho, or the man to be sorry, or the woman to don't want to clean, and all these things? So we can like blow the cap off of this and forget about what happened last night.
Can I say something? I think men and women are actually the same.
Yes, brother. Yes.
With minute differences. Just minute differences. And when women say men want sex all the time, a man can say women want sex all the time. But hear this. And I really hope and pray that everybody listening hears what I'm about to say. Before marriage, you were just out there doing something. But
whatever.
You got into the marriage under God, those minute differences within a man and a woman became one. Y'all became the same person.
Wow.
My wife can, and I'm going to give you a good testimony. I paint cars all day, sometimes 12 to 15 hours a day. When I come home, she doesn't let anyone speak to me for 30 to 40 minutes. She gives me time to sit down, to just chill.
That's it.
Man, that is the ultimate respect. And I show her the same respect back. And and not just that, but what I'm saying is, if women can understand just that, do you understand how much of a change that can be in a marriage, in a relationship, that you do with the opposite sex? And that's why men need, not want, we need respect. Just like women need love, not want, they need it.
Need it.
And that was made from the beginning. Just like Brother Carey said, it was in the design. So, in us communicating, we have to understand each other's communication. Once we have that understanding, then that helps the problems go away. So we're saying the same things again, Lionel. We're saying the same things. We're just saying it a little differently.
Yes.
That's all.
Right. And what makes it, just to jump in, that was great what you're saying, brother. But I think what makes these conversations so palatable to have, it goes back to Brother Gibbs said, we just haven't been having them. We just haven't been having them. And it sounds so harsh coming from the church. But that's just been the problem. That's just been the problem.
You say it's harsh coming from the church, but see, that is the problem.
That's where it should have been coming from all along.
That's the problem. That's where it should have been coming from.
It should have been coming, because correction comes from the house first.
Thank you.
And as I gotta go, fellas, but I want to leave this with y'all. Listen, to all ladies watching, the one thing that these brothers have shared and have given you is, this is a point of perspective from men who are in their position, giving to their families and to their wives the way God intended for it. If the man that you are interested in and the man that you are in love with is not in their position, he's not going to talk like them. So if you're trying to compare this conversation to any other type of conversation that another man is giving, it's not gonna sound right by us, because we're not in the position that either the single man or the man you're married to. And that might be an ugly truth for you to have to really face the fact that the man that you married may not be in his kingship yet. Doesn't mean he can't get there. It just means he ain't there. Because sometimes stuff that don't make sense is not that it doesn't make sense. It's just you ain't never heard it. You ain't never heard the facts handed to you like they handed them to you.
That's a great point. Maybe they have never heard a man express what we're expressing right now.
Absolutely.
Because of a lack of communication. Because there is no communication at all. And to an extent. Well, he had to go. Okay, I want to put this this comment up. It says that you all also have to realize that you all are saved now. None of this came about until you all got saved and realized a change needed to happen. No one realized this until you were put in the situation to work it out.
Right.
That's awesome.
But that's going back to what I was saying last night. If you want a good man, if you want a good marriage, make sure that man has a pursuit for God, and make sure that man has a vision.
Where are they looking?
Right. And I think, like I said, I'm always parallel it to the men and women, because if we go to Ephesians 5:2, it says both submit to God.
Yes.
So we have to have an equal mindset to be, especially, because we're believers, I have to talk about that.
Right.
If we're subscribing to the word of God as Bible believers, that's what we have to go by. So it says both submit to God. So both of us have a duty to be submitted to God. So that way, that makes whatever we need to do for each other that much easier, being submitted to God. because we know we're working to please God, and the Bible says, "Do everything as unto God and not unto man."
You know, I'm gonna say this, and one thing I'm learning from my own personal experience is the upbringing that we have. There's the more men. I can really truly say lately, the men leaderships have been short coming, because our next generation that's being raised to be men are not getting the teaching that we are receiving now. That's why it's important to have conversation like this, especially with the young youth, about how to respect their body, how to respect their wives, how to respect their mothers, how to respect their sisters. I teach my son every day the same thing, because when they get older, I want them to have that same way, that same zeal I have for my wife, for his wife, and understand that you have to respect that woman. And parents should respect you back. We have the biggest problem is, you know, as men, we don't have that generational leadership on our mental no more. Like uncles and grandfathers and great grandfathers, where are they at to help that young man to be the best husband? You know, yes, the church is supposed to intervene, but what about the household?
Right.
That's supposed to stand up. Where's that uncle? Where's that father? Where's that neighborhood father that's supposed to stand up and be who he's supposed to be to that neighborhood to help the young men to have a vision? Because a lot of young men, they lately don't have no vision. Hell, they barely go to church.
You know, I guess, you know, what you're saying is, and I can attest to that. If the ladies are concerned or worrying about why, you know, there's a shortage of men, and that is because, again, what we've learned. I'm just going to use us, not saying that that's what we're actually doing, but what we learned, we're not passing it down to our own sons or other men around us. We act afraid to talk with them. And I think that whenever we have an opportunity where we can speak into a young man's life, especially being Christian men, then that is something, that opportunity that we should take. That's something we should do. Let me see here. And listen, man, I ain't trying to tell you what to do with your wife. You might need to go all the leaders are all on this page or on this live. Y'all have to expand and get this information out there. Don't just talk about it. Didn't God say go out and get the harvest?
Tisha, we love you so much. But you know,
there's a shortage. The mamas are raising them, but not all are falling or failing. Oh Lord, I love you, ladies. But okay, and that's true. That is true. Guys, y'all got anything else y'all want to say, man?
Yeah, I mean, go ahead. I'll just say this, you know, ladies, listen, who all are still on, listen, we don't want you all to take none of these topics personal, please. You know, we've just been in a space where a lot of us have been boxed in all our lives and not really understanding the power of like true communication and really saying what we feel. So sometimes when you ever got in an argument with your spouse, and some of y'all know how it sounds behind the scenes, you know, all the letters aren't, you know, from the Bible. Some of them are really loud 4-letter words. So you get upset, you say things, and you might say things that you don't mean, or you might say things that are true to your spouse, but they may come out very raunchy and hard. That's because you're in a certain mode and you're expressing it. You haven't, just say you've been dealing with something with your spouse for just keeping it in your head for 7 years. Now, all of a sudden you've had enough. And so, boom, the way it comes out, it's not going to come out nice. Right. So now we're dealing with these things and that we get to talk about these days that they've just been inside of us. They've been sitting there lying dormant. And now that we have a chance to talk about it, and we're actually making ourselves vulnerable and kind of putting our business out there, and we're taking shots because we're being bold enough to say some of the things that need to be said that some of the leaders aren't saying. And that should be said to help another person. So ladies, we love you all. I love my fellow brothers. You know what I'm saying? Those of us that are willing to be vulnerable and transparent to help another brother, I appreciate you guys. And ladies, again, we love you. I can't express it enough.
I'm sure this came from Mr. Eddie Hall. He said that as a father, my goal is to teach my son how to be a husband.
Mm-hmm.
He has. I've seen the mistakes I made as a husband. It's my duty to correct everything that he has seen that was right and wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And that is great, because as you know, as you all know, uh, my my well, we just had a wedding. One of my daughters, she married a gentleman that lived in my house, right? And then, like I said, he wasn't here because of her, but he was here because I saw a young man that was growing up without a father figure. Now, he had his grandfather. I'm not going to take anything away from his grandfather, but I wanted him to have that experience of what it's like growing up in a home, two-parent home, with a father, with my sons, whom they refer to each other as brothers. And I can tell you now, and I'm not taking no credit for it, because he could have had the mindset of not to hear anything that I had to say. He could have had the mindset, man, shut up, you ain't my daddy. You can't tell me what to do, blah, 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 blah. But that wasn't his MO. He listened to what I know it was tight for him sometimes, but at the end goal is, man, let me tell you, I am so proud of this young man. And that is because of what God has allowed me as a man to instill in him. So that is absolutely true. We have a comment here, enlightening conversation, gentlemen. Thank you. Now, I think that at the end of the day, though, as I stated, and I'm going to sum up what I was saying to the ladies, I'm going to say it without being wired up and sweating and going on. Ladies, stop looking for a husband if you don't have a husband. Make God your husband. And this is what the lady said on the round table. What was it? A woman's perspective on sex, intimacy, and love. Pursue God first. Pursue God. See, we may have a tendency to think that, again, I'm just kind of recapping, that we know what man is best for us, and we want to choose that man ourselves. Then when we choose the man, then we get together, we marry, it ain't working out. And then you all have no resources in order to fix what it is. Because number one, guess what? It's a possibility God wasn't never in it in the beginning. Let me say it this way, because this got misunderstood as well. I'm not telling you to go find a man who ain't doing nothing with his life. I am not saying that. But if there's a man that God has put in your life, and you see and in your conversation, you see that he loves the Lord, he loves God. You see where no matter what his struggles are, he has some ambition, he has a vision. He might keep falling down every time he get up, but he's striving to make something out of himself. And if you know in your spirit that that's the man that God wants to connect you to, and he knows that as well, go for it, ladies. Go for it. Go for it. But as long as I'm saying this because as long as I was doing it my way and trying to help God, I kept making a mess of things.
Yeah.
But when I decided, listen, man, I'm not looking for no woman. You know, I stated last night, at one time in my life, I was living as if I could not live as a man if I did not have a woman in my life. And I had to change that. I had to change that mindset because as was said tonight, I just kept going in this revolving door. And you know who was suffering from it? My children.
Yeah.
My children were suffering from it. But when I made up my mind, I'm just only going to seek God. And whatever I have to work with, I'm going to work it the best of my ability, but I'm not concerned about wanting a wife right now. I had to get to that point. And when I made that decision to make God first, then he brought the wife that I am with now and us together. And we have lived 17 beautiful years together. Have we had some differences? Yes. Have we been upset with each other? Yes. Have we gone to bed and slept with our back to each other, not just because that's our best sleeping position? Yes, we've been there. But because of our relationship with God, that was the mending or the salve on whatever situation that occurred in our marriage. And we are happily married. Is it perfect? No, but we together with God involved and engaged makes it perfect. And all I'm saying to you ladies, make yourself perfect with God first, so that when you do get with your husband, you can be perfect with him. And ladies who are married, even in the midst while you are married, make yourself perfect with God so that you can be even then perfect with your husband. So I hope that that's a little more receptive, ladies. I'm a passionate brother. I'm real passionate. And even we talk about learning from our wives. I had to learn that, how to talk to my wife, because I have passion. When I have conviction about something, I become passionate about it. I have a big voice. I'm loud, you know, and it's not that I'm trying to be loud intentionally. It's just something that it just was built in. But I had to learn how to. No, I'm talking to my wife. She don't like when I get loud. It just does something to her. So guess what? I had to change. I had to learn when I can talk to my wife. She had to learn when she me. It's a revolving door, and it goes both ways. And ladies, I want you to understand that if you have a man who loves God and that is pursuing God, guess what? He's gonna know how to treat you exactly the way that you need to be treated and love you the way that you want to be loved. Guys, y'all got any other sayings, man?
I would say this,
Did
and I'll be out
did
myself.
I say that a little better, gentlemen?
Yes. Basically, you just saying if you want the best from God, give God your best.
Give God your best. Stop looking. Stop looking for whether or not he got a Mercedes or he might be riding in a Fiat or who cares? Who cares? It doesn't mean that just because you might even make more money than him, it doesn't make him less of a man. It doesn't make him less of a man. And all we're saying, ladies, we're asking you to listen to what we're saying to you. Give us the respect that we desire, that we need. We need you to respect our manhood. Yeah, we got flaws, and I'm not saying we don't. And I'm not saying that we're perfect in all of our ways. But you can make that man perfect if you know how to respect him. Come on, guys, and we're going to get off of here.
I'm just say this, and then I'm gonna let the ladies go. I'm gonna be just like the UPS man. I'm gonna put it at your doorstep, and y'all do with it what you will. If you can't trust the man, trust the plan of God. Y'all might not get it now, but replay it. You'll get it later.
Wow, that's good. That's good. All right, who's that? Got anything else, gentlemen?
I'm okay.
I'm good. I'm good. I mean, everything y'all said and everything that was transparent. I mean, my biggest thing that I could say that this is a learning lesson for everybody, a learning process. Communication is the biggest part of our relationship. There's no communication, there's no love.
Yeah,
It's true.
everything stops.
I think that if there is one golden nugget that we want to leave,
Communication.
it's communication. Learn how to talk to each other
Effectively communicate.
effectively. You know, if there's no intimacy in the relationship, learn how to communicate with each other.
Yes.
Ladies, I'm gonna tell you something. Ladies, you have the power. And you have the influence. And I'm not talking about what you okay, I'm gonna try to keep this clean. Y'all know what I'm saying.
Womanly wild.
Yeah. Let me say it this way. And I'm not talking about your influence that you can generate with your womanhood. I'm not talking about that.
Right.
I'm talking about your conversation.
Intellect.
How you connect with him. Let me tell you something. Samson was the strongest man on the world.
Oh my.
Yes, he was.
But he was no match for Delilah.
Nah. She had that back.
Because she knew exactly how to influence.
Yes, she did.
Get that information out of him.
Know how to rub him right?
Absolutely. Broke him down like a shotgun.
Hey, I say that story. She fell in love with a stripper. He fell in love with a stripper. She stripped him of everything.
But I know we're making fun of it. But that's what you possess, ladies. That's what you possess.
Yeah.
That's what you possess. And if you want to be a Proverbs 31 woman, read it. Learn what that is.
I got something coming up for her too.
You have the authority. You have that authority, if I could say that. No? All right. We got to go, gentlemen. Hey, thank you guys for coming on, man.
Yes, sir.
I know it's kind of short notice, but I just wanted to just bring you guys on, just kind of do a recap, because I just felt I didn't want the ladies to feel in an inaccurate way or to misinterpret what I know that I was saying. And let me say this, and I believe y'all could correct me if I'm wrong. If there was any error on my part, I am absolutely certain that any one of you brothers would have corrected me. Am I right or wrong?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Some of the stuff came on the platform tonight. We basically we said, actually, in all honesty, what I would have said was because I made a joke that, bro, you on 1,000. I think I told you that through a text.
Yeah.
So, but that would be my only part, because I know women have the sensitive thing, and that's the part of them that we have to honor, although our passion is high. And I don't think I know your heart, bro. So I know there was no maliciousness in any way.
Not at all.
In any way.
Not at all. Hey, guys. Hey, man, thank you guys, man. Much love to you all. And we're going to sign out.
Cool.
Tune in next week, you all. Tune in next week. We're going to have Mr. James Wright on.
Love y'all, brothers.
Love y'all too, man.
Hey, y'all have a great night, man. Thanks again.
You too, my brother. Thanks for having us.
What is love? Is it sweet chocolates and a romantic dinner? What is love? Is it long strolls on the beach or hiking up a large mountain? What is love? Is it what we can see, touch, feel? Or is it something more intangible? What is love? Love is God, and God is love. As men and women of God, it's our duty, no, our privilege to search love out and to walk in love. Why? Because love is the greatest force of all.